I know this is not your current team, but I'm wondering what you do think of, if you don't mind me just throwing you in right now as part of the paparazzi, and what you think of what is going on with your former team in Philadelphia. Do you have any thoughts on that subject, Malcolm Jenkins? If so, what are they?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I hadn't really paid a ton of attention to it. I was really just, looking around the league to look at, with all of the coaching vacancies, how they want to handle, black coaches and what opportunities were going to come. But I do know that whoever, was going to take over that job in Philly was inheriting, some work. And I think Jeffrey Lurie made some comments earlier this offseason that hinted or was really direct about, they're going into a rebuilding phase. And, I know as players on a team and as a fan base, you never really want to hear that. Because it sometimes kind of muddies up what the priorities are. But, look, they got a situation where obviously all that went down with Carson Wentz this year, a lot of money invested into him. And then you had Jalen Hurts come in and really take command of the offense, ignited a little bit of juice into the team. And that's not the first time that's happened, from a backup quarterback, obviously,
right,
in Philly. And so it's one of those things that, like, something has to change, whether you put that onus on the coaching staff or you put that onus on the players that are there. But I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of work to be done there. But they've got great leadership. They've got players, in that locker room that are a prideful group. And what you hope to see is that, at least from a fan, right? I even call myself an Eagles fan. You just hope that the competitiveness, that the culture, and the kind of the ethos of what that team stands for at least stays in place.
So again, as a fan of the Eagles, you do, however, have quite a unique perspective. And one more follow-up on this. Is there an issue with Wentz in that locker room? We keep on hearing about it. You were there when there was a magazine article locally that came out, said there was a big problem with Wentz and players in that locker room. Is there an issue? Is there any there about Carson Wentz that you can share with us, Malcolm?
Well, I think, as a teammate and friend of Carson's, I think that, it always starts right with performance. And he hadn't performed up to, I think, the expectations that everybody's had for him. And I don't think he would say he's played up to his own expectations. But some of the other issues that I felt, when I was in the locker room was just that, there was just too much leeway. And it didn't make him a better player. I don't think they did him any favors by, trying to kind of protect his ego or trying to, just really protect him as a player, as opposed to keeping it, just like every other player, it's like keeping it performance-based and really being, real about what he needed to improve on, but also adjusting to put him in places that, that can make him successful. And I think, that's a little bit on the coaching staff. That's also some onus on the player. Like, every player should go into every offseason evaluating what they did well, what they didn't do well, and you look to see improvement year after year. But if that's not the case and you don't see it and there are no changes and it's not being addressed, then I know, like, as a player, you almost feel like, what are we doing? You're to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. And unfortunately, I think that a little bit of that has, taken place over the last few years. And obviously, this offseason shows that something had to change in a major way. And Carson's still there. And so he's still, regardless of who they bring in for, to coach him and get him better, he's still going to have to improve as a player in order for that team to have success.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.